Hi folks, we're going to take a look at number 21 on page 269. So here they tell us that the price of X MP3 players is given by this function here. Okay, and they specifically say that since obviously it's representing number of players, it's got to be a natural number. So if the total revenue is given by, now this is a function we should recognize, well, it's just the number of items you sell times the price per item. Then they want us to determine the number of players that corresponds to a maximum possible revenue. Okay, so similar to problems we've solved before, except they've done the work of finding the price function for us. All right, so what we want to maximize is revenue, which is X times the price function. Now they gave us the price function. It's just 50 minus X squared, so we can just input that. All right, and so here, let's clean that up. This is negative X cubed plus 50X. Okay, so just a cubic function. So if we want to determine what's going to correspond to maximum total revenue, before we do that, we should indicate exactly what our domain is. And of course, you can't sell less than 0 MP3 players, so X has to be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, we should include 0 because it could be that you don't sell any. Okay, so let's find the derivative to determine those critical points. So our prime at x is just given by negative 3x squared plus 50, and we want to determine when that's equal to 0. All right, and this we can just solve this. So here 3x squared is equal to 50. So x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 50 over 3. So while we do have two critical points, I'm not interested in that negative one. All right, so here, since x can only be an integer, okay, so let's find here 50 divided by 3, and then we'll take the square root of that, exponent 0.5, and so that's about 4. Okay, so we're not done yet though. We need to show that this indeed does correspond to a maximum value. So what are we going to do? We're just going to test values of the derivative above and below 4. So we know it has to be greater than or equal to 0. So here I'll pick 1 to the left and 5 to the right, and we're just going to test the value of this derivative here, or actually not the value, but just the sign. So 1 is nice and easy. We've got negative 3 plus 50 is positive, so that's a good start. And then here, let's see if we can do this in our heads. We've got 5 squared is 25 times negative 3 is negative 75 plus 50, we know is going to be negative. So since this function goes from increasing to decreasing at 4, we know that it corresponds to a maximum value. All right, so now that we know what corresponds to a maximum revenue, we go back to see exactly what they're asking for in the question. And in fact, what they want is the value of x that corresponds to the maximum possible revenue. So that's our answer. So here, x would be equal to 4 MP3 players. All right, so let's just do a quick recap here. So this was a scenario where a lot of the work was done for us because they tell us that revenue is number of items times price, and they explicitly gave us that price function. So we were able to write out the function we're trying to, in this case here, maximize. We set our reasonable domain for this question, and then we took the derivative to find the critical points, and we showed that indeed that did correspond to a maximum value. And then, of course, at the end, we went back to see what our question was actually asking for. All right, that's it for this one.